and welcome to Public Health Matters, a monthly program dedicated to discussing public health issues in our community. This program is sponsored by the Middlebrook Regional Health Commission, which serves the towns of Bound Brook, Greenbrook, Middlesex, South Brown Brook, Warren, and Watchung. My name is Colleen McKay-Wharton, and I'm the health educator with the Commission and the host of the program. Our goal for Public Health Matters is to give you a program that will provide you useful information to help you better understand important public health issues, and in particular, what you can do to reduce any risks associated with them. Well, summertime is definitely here, and with kids and families spending a lot more time outdoors, either swimming or hiking or picnicking. So our two guests today will be sharing some important tips to help keep everyone safe and healthy this summer. First will be Diana Soros, the Injury Prevention Coordinator at the Level 1 Trauma Center at the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. And Diana will highlight some important safety tips, such as water safety in particular. Diana will be followed by Nancy Lanner, a registered environmental health specialist with the Middlebrook Regional Health Commission, who will remind us how to keep foods fresh and free from harmful bacteria in the summer heat when you're planning your summer barbecues. So Diana, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Now, Diana, I know you're also the coordinator of Safe Kids Middlesex County, based at Robert Wood.
Exactly.
So why don't you tell us what that's about?
Sure. As part of my job as the Injury Prevention Coordinator at Robert Wood, I also coordinate a coalition called Safe Kids Middlesex County. And Safe Kids is a worldwide organization, and its sole mission is to decrease unintentional injury and death for children. So as a local coalition, we're out in the community helping to provide safety information and injury prevention information to the community, all ages, so that we can hopefully keep you out of our emergency department and out of our trauma bay. That's our goal. We feel like, we know that there are a lot of injuries that happen that can be prevented as long as people have the tools and the resources to prevent them. So that's our goal.
And that's exactly the goal of this kind of program, really, is prevention.
Great.
So, why don't we jump right in? Let's talk about water safety. You have varied items here. Can we tell us a little bit about what parents should really be thinking about to keep children in particular safe when it comes to swimming in pools or out in the outdoors as well?
Sure. First, let's talk about if you have a pool in your backyard, or a hot tub for that matter. These are bodies of water, and certainly places that children can get hurt. We really impress upon parents that if you have a pool in the backyard, that you need to set up certain barriers to preventing kids from being hurt or dying as a result of drowning. So the first and foremost thing is to have a fence around your pool, or a cover on your hot tub. Locking gates and locks on the cover on the hot tub, so that when you're not around or you're inside the house, you don't have to worry about your children or anybody else's children getting into your pool or your hot tub.
That's an important point, Diana. I think we may teach our children very well when they are growing up with a pool and teaching them what to avoid, but other children in the neighborhood, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that can be
idea.
Right.
Now, every municipality has its own ordinances about fences or those kinds of things, so you really need to check into that. But if you're looking at it strictly from a safety perspective, you really should have that fence and that gate around your pool so nobody else can get into it. Things like alarms. If somebody breaks the surface of the water, an alarm goes off in the house. So that way somebody's gotten into the pool. And it could be your own toddler or it could be your neighbor's child, but you want to make sure that you know if somebody's gotten into that pool.
Great. Now, we had mentioned off the shows baby pools also. Now, I don't know that fence rule generally applies to the toddler pools that you can...
True, but other safety issues should happen. You want to make sure that if you've got that baby pool that you don't leave it right side up with water in it when you get done using it. You flip it over, you empty it, and you leave it upside down. That way you don't have to worry about anybody getting into that, because children can drown in less than 2 inches of water. And especially with toddlers, they've got that large head that their body doesn't fit yet, and they can definitely, they're curious, they can be looking over into that pool and fall right in. And then they can't get out. So it's very important to make sure that if you do have one of the little blow-up pools, you make sure that you empty it and leave it upside down in your backyard, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Now, so we've gone from, preventing it from the outside. What do we have here that we can use to help us?
A lot of parents are under the misconception that things like pool noodles and swimmies will keep their children above the water and safe from drowning, and that's definitely not the case. If you look at the warnings on the packaging and on these, it says it is not intended as a flotation device. These are intended as swim aids When your
Okay.
child's learning how to swim, you put these on them, you're in the pool with them, or somebody's in the pool with them, helping them to learn this is what they use.
Okay.
These are strictly
For fun.
for fun.
Those are fun.
Let's have
Right.
fun, all right?
Right.
They don't keep children afloat.
Okay.
This is called a life jacket, or what we call it now is a personal flotation device.
Okay.
And basically, life jackets are intended to keep people from drowning. This is a child-sized life jacket, and they do come with weights on them, so it's very important that if you are going to purchase one, you make sure you get one that's appropriate for your child, because if it's too big, it will slide right off of them in the water.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, and it's important to keep the buckles buckled to make sure that it stays on them and that they're tightened.
Okay.
And for a child who doesn't know how to swim, or if you're going to be out on a boat or an open body of water, this is very, very important. And this is supposed to keep a child's head above the water, or an adult,
Right.
and keep them from drowning.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you, I believe, had mentioned that just your reference to boating. There are some laws out there, right,
Right.
about who's required to wear these
Right.
out in the ocean.
Again, each state has their own rules.
Okay.
New Jersey has a rule that if you are under the 16 or under, and you
Okay.
are out on a boat, you are supposed to be wearing a life jacket at all times.
Okay.
It is recommended that anybody who's out on a boat, it doesn't matter how old you are, that life
Right.
jacket should be on you.
Okay.
The rule says that for others, for old adults, they must be out and invisible sight.
Okay.
All right. But we really recommend that you just, if you're going to be out on a boat, you put on your life jacket. You just don't really know what's going to happen. And you may be a
Right.
great swimmer, but if you're unconscious, it really doesn't
It
matter
doesn't
how
matter.
good of a
That's
swimmer
right.
you are.
Or the length of time that you may be
Right.
stranded. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Now, you have some other items here that are, that I believe you wanted to talk about, some water
Yes.
watcher tags that
One
are new?
of the things that we impress upon parents
Mm-hmm.
is that when children are in water, whether it's in your backyard pool, it's at the community pool, or at the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
that there needs to be an adult actively supervising those kids. And that doesn't mean there's a group
Right.
of parents over here chit-chatting and one of them is keeping an eye on the kids.
Right,
That is
okay.
not sufficient, because when a child goes under the water, you can't hear them anymore.
Right.
And we call that a silent death, unfortunately. You need to be keeping an eye on the kids. So
Right,
Safe
right.
Kids developed a program called the Designated Water Watcher Program.
Okay.
And basically, this is sort of an annoying
Right.
wristlet that you wear. It has some emergency information on this card.
Okay.
Talks about calling 911, and it talks about knowing CPR and first aid.
Okay.
It also has an emergency whistle.
Okay.
So you are the adult who's responsible for actively watching the children in the pool. You're in the backyard, there's a whole bunch of kids, you watch for 15 or 20 minutes. You're not talking on the phone or eating, chatting, reading a book, or any of those
And that
things.
happens
Your
all the
focus,
time.
right. your-
I see that all the time.
Right, your focus
So-
is on that pool. And when
Okay.
your 15 or 20 minutes is up, you get to take it and hand it off to the next adult. Now you can go have some fun and eat and whatever,
Right,
and they
right.
watch the pool. And that goes on as long as there are kids in the water, because that way you know someone's really watching them.
Right. Excellent. This is great. Now, do you distribute these at different program activities?
We do.
Is
When
that
we're
how
out in
you
the
do that?
community, especially during
Okay.
the summer,
Of
if
course.
you've got a pool, we want you to have one of
Right.
these. So, yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, you've talked about adult supervision, and clearly that's ultimately the overarching
Right, that's the key.
essential with pool safety. But there are other things we do outside in the summer, certainly,
Right.
aside from water safety, and then we'll have a lot of other tips related to water safety on our website
Great.
for this program.
Wonderful.
But let's talk about some things kids are doing aside from that. We're
Sure.
all on wheels. We're either rollerblading, skateboarding, biking. What do we have over here? Or what can you share with us about?
We have a couple of helmets
Okay.
to talk about, first of all, the fact that if you put wheels under your feet, you should have a helmet on your head. That
Okay.
is the most important way and the best way to protect yourself from a head injury. And we know that. But we still see, unfortunately, a lot of children
Yes.
and adults riding around without their helmets on.
Right.
Now, we do have a law in New Jersey that says through the age of 16, you are
Okay.
supposed to have a helmet on if you're riding your bicycle, rollerblading, on a scooter, or skateboarding.
Now, you're saying through the age of